For more on this, we're joined by James Dorsey, who's a Middle East analyst at Singapore's S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies. Welcome back to the programme. Now, with the World Bank slashing its 2026 global growth forecast to 2.5%, will reopening the Strait of Hormuz be enough to reverse that slowdown?
It's going to take time. I think we've got to realize that we know actually very little. What we know is that there's a ceasefire, or a ceasefire that has been extended. And what we know is that the Strait of Hormuz will be reopened. We don't know what that means. What we're seeing, and I would treat with caution anything that is said either by U.S. officials, including President Trump, as well as by Iran or Iranian officials, as long as we don't see a full text of the Memorandum of Understanding. We've already seen significant differences of what the future status of the Strait of Hormuz will be. Will it return to the pre-war status, which is highly unlikely, or will there be some kind of management of the strait? Moreover, as some of your earlier guests have said, it's going to take time. We don't know how long it will take for the current backlog of ships to get through the strait, whether it's towards Iran or out of the Gulf. We don't know exactly how long it's going to take to repair damaged oil and gas installations in the Gulf. Qatar has said when its Ras Lafaran liquid natural gas terminal was hit, that it would take up to 5 years to repair. On the other hand, $58 billion for repair of damages, reconstruction in the Gulf countries is not going to be a problem for the Gulf countries to shoulder. They have the funding for that. The real question is how is the funding of the reconstruction of Iran going to take place?
Right, and nations across Asia are seeking emergency bailouts just to stabilise energy supplies. If the ceasefire does hold, how fast can this lower their crippling inflation?
I think part of the response is psychological. With other words, it's relief at this point. What you now need is confidence that that the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, the return of a free flow of oil and gas through the strait, is going to be sustainable. And that's going to take time to build that confidence. We already know that we have 60 days, apparently according to the Memorandum of Understanding, to negotiate all of these issues. So I think that it's going to be helpful that oil starts to flow, but it's going to take time before really the markets and the energy balance of various countries, particularly in Asia, is going to balance out.
And the war has cost the US almost $30 billion in defense spending alone. When can American consumers potentially see some relief from these $4 gasoline prices?
Well, first of all, we don't really know what the cost to the United States was. The $29 billion figure that's being bounced around is a figure that emerged a month ago. And there's been obviously considerable expense since. We're also not very clear to what degree U.S. stockpiles have been replenished. So I think that impact on the U.S. economy is, the jury is out on that. The moment that we've already seen a lowering of the oil price, the more sustainable the opening of the Strait of Hormuz becomes, the more the oil price is going to lower. And American consumers, as well as consumers in other countries, are going to feel the difference.
James Dorsey in Singapore, thank you very much for speaking to us here on TRT World.
Thank you for having me.